Hey, Jessica. Hey, whisper to me. Hi, Margie. Hey, Pat. Hi, Susan. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Evie. Hey, CYNT. Thanks, Susan. Yeah, I almost wasn't here because I was, my blood pressure dipped way low again. Hi, Mandy Hall. Hi, Two Scooter. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Baby Vlad. That's why I'm not going to be on camera, because I'm like in 10 sweatshirts and I just got really cold and I had to lay down, and I used what Bella Max said. I put the Himalayan salt, tried some of that. Yeah, I need to get this stress off of me, Pat L. That's what I need to get off of me. Yeah, I do have some word. He had some small improvements today. They cut him back to, she thanks everyone for their prayers, and, said that his chest x-ray looked better, and there was an improvement in that, and there was a small improvement, but she's holding on to the small improvement, and that his oxygen was cut back to 80% and he was able to hold it. So that was good. Hey, Teacup. Right. Yep, Florence. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit now. Hi, Scarlet Rain. Hi, Isabel. Thanks, Carla. Yeah, everybody continue your prayers for them because they need them. Hi, Diana. Hi, Evie. I'm not really okay, Mandy. No. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Teresa. No, my blood pressure dipped way low, Jessica, and I almost passed out. So I laid down and I got freezing. I have like 10 sweatshirts on. So it's just going to be a picture tonight. You can hear the dryer. The dryer's not on. You must hear maybe the fish tank or the refrigerator, maybe. No, Letha, I'm here. Thanks, baby lad. Okay. Hey, Sassy Darcy. Audrey D. Hi. First time here, Audrey D. Hi, Hennessy. Yeah, it shouldn't be going on at all, Hennessy. That's the thing. Hi, Darth Cavins. Hi, Whisper to Me. Hi, Mystery Truth Seeker. Hi, Elise. Hi, Julie. Hey, Mrs. Roger Rabbit. Hi, Wildlife. Okay, Evie. Okay. Yeah, it shouldn't be going on at all, Susan, so I don't know. Hi, Maria. Hi, Anne. All right, so Susan and Josh Powell, the same thing that's been wrong since I was lucky enough to have I don't know. People are just rotten. That's all. Mystery Truth Seeker. People are just rotten. Let's put it that way. Some people, you know. But what are you gonna do? Because Sassy, my blood pressure dipped real low before. I've got like 10 sweatshirts on, and I look like death warmed over. So I'm not gonna go on. I'm with, you know. There's no video tonight. Yes, Carla, I do. But it requires, what it's requiring now is that I've had to hire an attorney, spend a lot of money, have travel to a location for nonsense. Absolute, utter nonsense. My kids have to be displaced. Our pets have to be displaced. Our lives have to be displaced for nothing. I wrote about it on my community page, Jessica, a few days ago. Hey, Lisa H. Yes, Elise. Yeah, it is. It's very disgusting. Okay, so yeah, what was I saying about the Powell case? Yeah, I'm not going to get off on the other thing because it is what it is, and it has to be handled like it has to be handled, and that's what we'll do. Thanks, Michael. I have told Sassy. Let's see. What? No. Go. I don't have a camera on. Go ahead. Yes. Okay. I can go into details when we're all said and done, and then everything will come out. I promise you, everything will come out. Okay. So, hi Sharon. Yeah, you bet, Diana. You bet. Okay. So anyway, no, that's not Jimmy. Has anybody seen Jeff around? Random guy Jeff? I was supposed to hear from him about something earlier, and I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Okay, so thanks, Wildlife. Yeah, I wish I had a magic wand too to do a lot of stuff, right? Not today. He was here. Yeah, he was here yesterday. I'm not doing well, but let's talk about Susan Powell. So Susan and Josh Powell met when Susan was 19, and they were Mormon. They got married. Her parents felt it was a little young. I'm going to give you kind of a synopsis here. I'll probably do a premiere at some time when I'm feeling better. But they had two boys, both born in January. One 2005, the other one 2007. One of them was born January 2nd. One of them was born on January 17th, I believe it was. I'm doing this all from memory. So, They got married. Her girlfriend said she sensed that the marriage was an abusive one, okay, that he was very controlling, and she just said, it was very, very abusive, that she would have left, but he used the boys. Yeah, I will, Margie, as soon as I'm feeling better. He used the boys as a pawn, okay, over her head, that if she left, and I'm not going to look at the chat because it's hard for me to stay on track because I'm doing this all from my memory. He used it, them as a pawn. If you leave, the boys are gone. So she stayed because, of course, she wanted her kids. And in the midst of all this, they had her father-in-law, okay, who was Stephen. And he was divorced, but he claims that she was a very sexual person and that he was engaging in that type of behavior with her. So back in 2009, there was an impromptu camping trip in the middle of the night, midnight, okay? Josh leaves with 2 boys, which is very strange, and it was winter. And it was cold. And Susan could not be found after that camping trip. When people went to the house, there were 2 box fans aimed at the carpet. Okay, 2 areas on the carpet, which looked like they had just been cleaned. And thanks, Debbie. So yeah, I've got something here. Yeah. So they looked like it had been cleaned, and they said, well, what the heck was going on? Suspicious thoughts were going through everyone's mind. The only person of interest was Josh, and they didn't have any real evidence to tie him to it. So he ended up moving in with his father with the boys. And when they did that, he did a lot of media interviews. And that's when a lot of this stuff with the father was coming out, where the father was saying that, that she was a very flirtatious. Actually, they both said she was very flirtatious. And that, you thought who said Tupac? I don't know. So very flirtatious, and the father was writing songs about her, like I will be secretly, I can't remember the lyrics completely, I will secretly love you, I can every day, and crazy lyrics. Again, Josh was saying he did not have anything to do with the disappearance of his wife. They suggested that she ran away with this other young man that had disappeared. I think it was a day earlier. Everybody said that's preposterous. That would never have happened. There was no real evidence for anything to happen that way. Absolutely not. So it goes on. It's 2 years later, 2011, and she's not found. But now there's some questionable stuff found on Josh's computer. It was cartoon stuff. It wasn't real images, but it was troubling enough that he needed to have supervised visitation. Also, the father, his computer was seized and was found to have women, children, Susan, in all types of compromising poses, in the shower, horrible stuff. So the fathers take it in. You've got Josh now with this questionable stuff. And when the kids were at camp, one of the little boys drew a photo of a minivan with 3 people. And someone asked him about it, and he said, yeah, that's my dad, and me and my brother. And they said, well, where's your mommy? And he said, she's in the trunk. She's in the trunk? Yeah. We went on a camping trip, and then Daddy and Mommy had to get out, and then just Daddy got back in. No, he had to have supervised visitation at a place where by the county where other supervised visitations were running, right? But he was causing so much of a distraction for the other families that were meeting there because he had been on the media so much and was well recognized that they had to get him out of there. So they let him meet with the children at his house. And his caseworker, who was taking care of the kids and who had really gotten attached to the kids, would drop the kids off there and pick them up after the visitation. So on this one day, he went and made a bunch of stops. He dropped off his kids' toys at, he donated them to like a Goodwill or I don't know exactly what outlet he did. Could have been a thrift shop, could have been Salvation Army, but he dropped off their toys. And then he picked up some gasoline and he started to write messages or leave messages for his family members saying he was sorry and he couldn't go on without the boys and all of this stuff. So when the social worker brought the kids that day, and the caseworker, I'm sorry, she knocked on, the kids went in, and as soon as they did, she got a really eerie feeling, and she started to smell gasoline, and she heard, Josh saying that he had a surprise for the kids. And so she immediately started calling 911. And they started, I don't think it's an emergency yet. But she was saying, no, it is an emergency. And they didn't get there in time. And the house went up in flames. And they were all killed. The boys were, it was a murder-suicide. The father, Stephen, he died July 23rd of natural causes of 2018, and Susan's body has not been found. Right, he slammed, has not been found, but, she's presumed dead, but her body has never been found. There's a lot of speculation as to what happened. I would say I don't think he killed her in a bloody way. He may have strangled her, and the carpet stuff may have been what happens afterwards that he had to clean up. And that's why he did that. And then he put her in the car and took the kids on a camping trip and disposed of her body somewhere along the way, is what I think. I don't know, how they don't have enough any DNA evidence to tie her to the trunk. The mine shaft, right? Yep. I've heard about that stuff too, but there's so much mystery about that part of it. The brother Michael wanted satellite images of a junkyard. He had dumped his car there. Cops already have it. They thought he threw down one of his mine shafts. Yeah, like I said, I will go into more detail, but if you want to get on and is Random Guy Jeff here? Hennessy? Susan Powell, the disappearance of Susan Powell. They've never found her body, but she's presumed. It's presumed to be a homicide. Yeah. The father, was very weird. And then in media interviews, when they were saying to Josh that your father says that they were engaged in kind of a sexually playful, sexually something relationship, he denied it, but he said that his wife was very flirtatious And when they suggested that she might have run away with that other guy, they said that they asked him, has she ever cheated on you? He says, well, not that I know of. And so that was that. Anybody else have any ideas about what happened to her? Like, what do you think he did? What do you think he did? Hi, Belmac. Yet they found so many nasty images on his computer. But they also found stuff on Josh's computer. Incestuous stuff, but with cartoons. Strangled her, put her in a mine shaft. Mine shaft. He threw her down a mine shaft. I think he made her unconscious on the meal he made her, and she went out. Hey, son of the All-Father, Tico, how you doing? One of her kids said she was with the Crystals. Well, that's the theory that he had to get rid of the boys because the boys were, instead of just getting rid of himself and letting the boys live, it's always, amazing, like what they call collateral damage. It's ridiculous. So he, they said the boys were remembering, they were telling more and more. There was the drawing that they made, that one of them made. His friend was over and her friend was over and Josh never did it. Her friend was over and Josh never did what, Anne? You're still on vacation in Cape Cod. Hey, Bergstrong. Hi, Teresa. Killed at home because of 2 boxes. Body just dumped in the open. No, the box fans were on the carpet, and the carpet looks like it had been washed. So it would appear she was killed. He was cleaning something up on the carpet. It was winter. Why would he have box fans on? Kind of weird. Hi, Lorianne. Not too well, thanks. No, Coacher? No, I don't think so. I think that's his father and Stephen and Josh brought that up to cast aside guilt. His dad had kept Susan's cotton balls, Q-tips, nylons. He had them dated when she lived with him and Josh. Yeah, pretty creepy. Yeah, and this song that he sings. So, anybody else have any? Does anybody here think that she ran away with that Coacher guy? Yeah, it says Farah just subscribed. Welcome, Farah. No, so okay, nobody believes that one. Does anyone believe? Thanks, Danielle. C. Does anyone believe that? Hey, Mary Kitty. Thanks, Sonia. Does anyone believe that Stephen killed her, the father-in-law? Diana says yes. Danielle says definitely a possibility. No, but I think he influenced his son. Susan Powell. So, and how many think that Josh did it at the house? Okay, Tico. I mean, yes, I would run away too, but I think foul play definitely in the mix. Either father-in-law because of his obsession, but also could be the son due to jealousy. Josh did it. Josh, yes, at the house. I think she predicted her death. She documented and recorded items prior to her disappearing. Yes, but at camp, like the little boy said, she was with them. She didn't. Well, yeah, he said that mom and dad got out, and then it didn't sound like they got out where they went camping. They got out somewhere along the way, and only dad got back in. But mom was in the trunk. You think one of his brothers was involved, Alethea? How come there wasn't DNA evidence in, like, that she was in the trunk of the car, or I mean, because her purse and her phone, when the friend went back in the house, her purse and her phone were still in the house. I think if she ran away with that guy, she would have taken her purse and she would have taken her phone. Hi, Angel Callie, how's your mom doing? Thank you. They're there. They actually had the custody of the boys, okay? And they gave them to the caseworker that day for the father's visitation. Tico, you think the husband's dad killed her? He probably placed her body in something after she was killed. Kind of like Watts, they didn't expect their friends to look for them. But he wasn't caught right away, Anne. He wasn't caught at all, really, for her disappearance, her murder. Yeah, I don't know if they ever will, Lori. It's been a long time. What has it been? Almost 9 years? 8 years? Over 8 years? Not really, though, Danielle, because Watts got caught immediately. This guy didn't. You believe he cleaned the trunk in a very thorough manner? Right? No, but they looked when she didn't get the kids on the bus, so started calling people. Right, and he didn't report this to her parents until 2 days after. The boys were remembering. I'm not keen on a case like this because all parties are dead. I think the father helped. Yeah, but I mean, the body is still missing, you know. Doing a little better, Kathy said. There's been a small improvement. He's been cut back on his oxygen to 80% from 100, and he's been holding his own. That last time I talked to her about this, and she thanks everyone for their prayers, keep them coming, and that his lungs looked a little better. So let's hope hope and pray he keeps making improvements. They have a long road ahead of them. You don't think she ran away and left her kids? If she feared for her life, I'm not convinced she'd leave her boys. Right. They should never... Yeah, I mean, the caseworker did seem, pretty broken up about it, but yeah. I don't think he should have ever been left alone. But he slammed the door in her face, but yeah, he should have been in a public place, not in his house. Perhaps mercy killing? I don't know. The father really didn't act like a very religious man in the things he was doing, nor did the son, but there was lots of stuff in the father's divorce. Oh, that's the other thing. There were a lot of things that Josh was exposed to, including and things he did, like threatening his mother with a butcher knife when she asked him to do the dishes. That he was around a great deal of pornography, like all kinds, from his father. Lots of things that went on in his childhood. So he definitely had some mother issues there going on, which is a common thread. Hey, J Bells. I think I think she was Florence, but I think he held the kids over her head. That's a sign they should. Well, I don't know that he wasn't on meds, Janelle. I don't know if he was. Josh knew he would not get the kids back. Yeah, I think it was more than that too. How old were the little boys? They were 5 and 7 when they were killed. If he was willing to kill his children, you can bet he killed his wife. Even the sister said, oh yeah, that's right. The sister, yeah, she said that, something was wrong there with her father. Definitely her father had serious issues with, everything that he was doing. And then he sent those messages out to the family members, and they knew something was going on. When they were interviewed Josh on TV, so he looked very strange. Yeah, he was very calm. He had nothing to do with it. Maybe... And they asked him about, like I said, a relationship that she had with his father. And they said, well, your father said she has a relationship with her. And he said, that's not true. Susan Powell disappearance. Did the boys camp with Daddy in the vehicle? I don't know. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. This makes me question so many police and agents. Coxa says boys were like wild and they slept naked with Josh. And he had very weird things on his computer, though they were cartoon images and not Susan Powell, Lonnie Gore. You're not doing good, your aunt... that I'm not going up there enough. Oh, Angel Kelly, don't let that get to you. You're doing as much as you can do. I told you that Yeah, don't let her do that to you. Don't let her run space in your head like that. You know what you're doing. Don't let someone make you feel bad. They're probably projecting what they feel onto you. They probably feel that they're not there enough, so they wanted to say you're not there enough. So it gives them something to focus on other than their own lives, like a lot of people do. Anime, I don't know that it was anime. Was it anime? I don't know. Cartoons, that's what they said. I don't know. I didn't see them. The father was so disgusting. He'd go in the trash and keep... Ugh. He wrote the creepy songs, yeah. Josh always looked spacey and had something on his lips. Was he licking his lips a lot? That's usually, people are lying. They lick their lips a lot. Just thank you, Danielle. I can't thank you enough for spreading your kindness. Thank you, Danielle. Apparently, not one single woman wanted anything to do with Josh when Susan came along. He was the first girlfriend. Oh, like he forgot to clean his face. Oh, you're seeing like something on the residue on there? Yeah, it's a weird case. Now there's another case, and somebody mentioned it last week. Chadwick, right? That murdered his wife in Newport Beach, California, and that he was found. Let me see. Let me get my stuff on it. Like for who? Let me see here. Because there was a bunch of things that happened. Okay, did you hear about the fake? Okay, let's see here. We know we had the other one that had the fake pregnancy, right? In Chicago. Well, these people wanted a scam. But see, the one in Chicago wasn't so much that she wanted a scam or she wanted money. She wanted the baby. So she scammed the girl by thinking she had baby items for her, and then we know what happened there. There was another couple that wanted a scam. So, hold on, let me pull up my stuff here. We were talking about dolls the other night, right? Yeah. What they did, they were Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is coming upon Colorado, New York, and I don't know what else. They used a photo of like a reborn doll, okay? She faked her pregnancy. And when you hear the amount of money that they did this for, this is another thing. Okay. What she went through for this farce that she created. A Pennsylvania couple allegedly started a GoFundMe page claiming they lost their newborn son hours after his birth, but police say the boy never even existed. So we have Casey Lang, 23, and Jeffrey Lang, 27. They were charged with theft and deception. Is that different than theft by deception? I think so. The couple allegedly faked the July 3rd birth and death of their son for money and gifts, according to an affidavit of probable cause. The Langs allegedly claimed that Easton Walt Lang was born at Conemaugh Health Systems in Johnstown on July 3rd. However, hours later, they claimed he tragically died. The couple allegedly shared photos of Easton, but he was a doll, okay, on their social media profiles and started a GoFundMe page for donations to help pay for a personalized urn. Okay, this is so bad. Police were called after the boys' memorial when a friend said she found that Casey's pregnancy and Easton's supposed death were suspicious. So what happened was this friend said that she first became suspicious when Casey didn't show signs of being pregnant. Okay, let me cut to the chase here. The amount of money that they took in on this GoFundMe page was $550. For $550, this woman went on a farce of 9 months. Okay, this is crazy. And during that time, never thought maybe this is not such a good idea, or the husband. This is what I mean when you have two people there that somehow think this is okay. So she didn't show signs of being pregnant, the friend thought. And despite her suspicion, this friend of hers hosts the baby shower, okay, at her home in May, shortly when this woman was supposed to be 7 months pregnant. But then her girlfriend that she threw the shower for, this fake pregnant girlfriend, stopped seeing anyone. She said that she was on bed rest and she didn't see anyone else. And nobody, like she wouldn't see anybody until then, okay, then this birth and then tragic death and then this GoFundMe page, right? There was a memorial. So then her friend said when she told her that she had given birth and that he died of respiratory distress syndrome, the friend did not believe her friend's story, so she called the funeral home and found out that there was no record of the baby there. So she said, I knew it was fake. I couldn't go on and watch this. So police were unable to find any records of Casey's pregnancy or the baby being born or dying or anything. During a search of the couple's home, police did find a newborn look-alike, a newborn reborn, they're called reborn dolls, allegedly used in photos. The GoFundMe page company will be refunding all the people who donated to the couple through the site, which raised $550. So, it's not like that other GoFundMe for that guy. Remember that homeless man or something? Wasn't that over like $100,000? A lot. $550. $550 over the course of all that time. The couple is scheduled to appear in court in October. It's unclear whether they have an attorney to comment on their behalf. Crazy. Absolutely nuts. That's just bizarre. Okay. GoFundMe is good, but it's so abused. Who faked to go? Yeah, but Tico, that one raised a lot of money. That homeless one, right? I mean, not that it's good, but I'm saying, when they're scamming and they're not even good at scamming, and they're putting the amount of time that they put in for $550. My gosh, the girl could have got a part-time job, so could he have, and raised way more than that over the... I don't know. I don't know how anybody thinks that. It was a scam, Teresa. The whole thing was a scam. The homeless guy stuff. Yeah, he was in on it with them. It was all a scam. It's just like the people that do the things for cancer, too, and they don't have cancer. How anybody can do that? But Anne wasn't fast and easy. She faked an entire pregnancy. That's 9 months. I mean, unless they thought they were going to be in a windfall in the end and it just didn't come through, I don't know. I don't know, Michelle. It's so crazy. Yeah, you could have stood on the street and made more. You did a fundraiser for epilepsy, and I wonder if the money really... Well, you can find that out. The organization has to report. Was it with a real organization, or are you saying what was it, like a walkathon or something, a run? You know, a couple that had 5 children. Scammed. He had... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You don't mean... But there was a one of those... I don't watch those housewife shows, Bill and Mac, but there was a husband that had cancer, and I thought he died. Are you saying that was a scam? I don't watch those shows, but sometimes it comes across the TV, and there was one, I think, in Georgia. I think it was Georgia, and the husband really had cancer, and I think he died. Oh, I was just talking about, Bella Max said something about one of the housewives. It was a boyfriend. Okay, but wasn't there, whoever watches those housewife shows, I think it was Georgia, and there was a husband and he had cancer and I think he died. Brooks, wait, was it a scam or not? Oh, you'll see it was the scam one. But Bella Mac, wasn't there one that wasn't a scam one? New York? I don't think it was New York. Was it New York? Maybe they were on vacation in Georgia or something? Did they all go on vacation somewhere? Oh, it was just a woman out of Pennsylvania. I don't think you would recognize the name. Casey is her name. But yeah, they faked the whole thing. It was a doll to get $550 from a GoFundMe page. But that was true, right, Jessica? That was true? I think they must have all been on vacation somewhere, the one I saw. Like, 'cause I think it was about this time last year, maybe a little earlier, when Ethan had his appendicitis, because Luke and I were staying in the family room together because we were alone here, and Jimmy was in the hospital, and so we were cuddling on the couch and watching a lot of that stuff, and I think that's when I saw that. Her husband was sick, and he did die. Gretchen, oh, I'm so confused. Yeah, I think the one I saw was not a scam. And she got baby shower gifts, yeah. Okay, so well, that's not the end. I was going to tell you about the guy that got captured, right? Hang on a minute. Peter Chadwick, who killed his wife 4 years ago. Okay. Okay, so now there was an international manhunt for the California man charged with killing his wife and staging a kidnapping plot. But the manhunt's over because, if you remember, somebody did come here and say that, oh, did you hear they caught this guy? Mystery solved because let's see when they get, this month they got him. After a nearly 5-year-long manhunt, Peter Chadwick was captured in Mexico. That's where Longo ran, Christopher Longo, who murdered his family. But he was captured pretty quickly in Mexico. This guy was hanging out for almost 5 years. The 55-year-old is accused of strangling his wife, Cho Chadwick, to death in 2012 in their Newport Beach mansion. So let's see, Peter and Kusi Chadwick were college sweethearts. They married very young, and they were married for 21 years. They had 3 sons. They lived in a gated community in Newport Beach, California, and that dream life collapsed one day in 2012 when neither of the Chadwicks turned up to pick up their sons from the bus stop. Investigators had a little idea that day that the search for the couple would lead them on an international manhunt. Okay, the next morning, San Diego authorities got a 911 call from Chadwick claiming a house painter named Juan murdered QC and forced Peter Chadwick to get her body out of the house. He said a man helped Juan, and they were planning to cut up his wife's body and dispose of it south of the border. Law enforcement didn't believe Chadwick, you think? And he was arrested and charged with QC's murder. He was released on $1 million bail, and then he vanished. Wow. That was 2015. Chadwick was one of the U.S. Marshals' 15 most wanted fugitives. Okay, so how was Chadwick able to elude all of those trying to find him for so long? And how did it come to this? The couple had been living the good life, enjoying the trappings of wealth, and raising 3 sons. The oldest was away at boarding school while his 2 younger brothers returned home on October 10th. The family's world turned upside down. So these boys got out of school, and a bus dropped them off near their house. And then a neighbor saw them sitting at the bus stop past the time that they typically get picked up by either Peter or QC. So this neighbor stopped and asked them, "Have you reached your mom and dad?" And they said no, they haven't been able to reach them. They were calling them, nobody was answering. It was very unusual for the Chadwicks not to be punctual. So,
okay, I found this on the web.
oh my gosh.
It's unusual for Chadwicks not to be punctual. Check it out.
Be quiet, Siri. So they started checking with friends and relatives, the police said, because that's the normal protocol. They started checking hospitals, and no one knew where they were. All attempts to locate them were a dead end. That same night, with their parents still missing, the boys slept at a friend's house. Investigators combed the Chadwick home for clues. When they went upstairs, they walked into, I'll show you some pictures here now. Let me tell them. I'm not looking at the chat, just so you know. Let me make this a little larger. Okay. In the master bedroom, they initially saw the broken glass, decorative glass that was around the bathroom tub, the edging. We had blood on the bottom of the bathtub, and as you continued through the downstairs, the safe was clearly ajar. So it's starting to look more than just a welfare check situation. Obviously, whoever left the house left in a hurry. It looked really suspicious. So the neighbors said they were all in shock. They don't know where she was. They don't know what's going on. And as word got out that the Chadwicks were gone, people started speculating what could it be. And they started talking, and neighbors said that QC was the one with all the personality. She was always looking forward to this neighbor's annual Christmas party, and Hang on, I'm just trying to get you another picture up there. Okay, because she came over and she got to dress up and she looked like $1 million and she had fun. And their first impression of her, another neighbor, was that she was a completely devoted mother. Karen, a neighbor, has known her for years. Their children went to school together. She said she was very determined to make sure that they were all getting good grades and that they were completing their assignments and that they were taking their music lessons seriously and they were doing sports. She wanted them to be the best at everything. And how were they? They were the best at everything, this neighbor goes on to say, this neighbor friend. Their father, Peter, came from a wealthy family. He was born in Britain and had dual citizenship. Kusi's family was also affluent, and they met at Arizona State University. So this friend said, yes, when asked, was she very in love with him? She said, yeah, she was very in love with him, but she also depended on him a lot. And, what do you mean depended on him? Well, Kusi found America to be a bit new and strange, different from where she had come from, and she was learning about things. And she felt that Peter liked that Kusi depended on him. When he grew more successful, the couple moved to the home in Newport Beach. They eventually had 3 sons, and the boys started taking piano. But Kusi, over the years, a different dynamic started to develop, right? She started to come into her own, and she started to be her own person, not quite so dependent on Peter. She was less insecure about what to wear, what to do. She was able to follow more of what she wanted to do, and she didn't ask him as much, for his guidance all the time. She had a lot more self-confidence. And he didn't seem to like that so much. So then this disappearance happens, where he calls. And in the 911 call, I'll read, the operator answers, and he says, Peter says, they took her. And the 911 operator says, who took her? And he says, the guy who broke into my house. He drove me here. He had a friend. I think they might be going to Mexico or somewhere. Okay, and hold on, I'm going to put up another picture. Hang on. Okay, this is a surveillance photo. You should see he's circled. It says, these were taken at a gas station near the Mexican border. Peter can be seen, and he's about to make that 911 call when this was taken, okay? So let's go back on that call. So Peter says to the clerk, can you call 911? Somebody killed my wife. That's what happened there. Okay, so back to where he is. Peter says, my wife's dead. They've gone in a pickup truck. And the 911 operator says, so your wife was kidnapped? He says, she's dead. The 911 operator says, hold on. Let me get my supervisor on the phone. And then, let's see, Chadwick, the 911 operator says, how do you know Juan? Because he told her it was a guy named Juan. He said, I picked him up to look at some painting work at the house. I brought him to the house. And then she says, how do you know she's dead? And he said, she's drowned. She drowned. Her body was stiff even. He said, I've been driving with them. I think they might be going to Mexico or somewhere. I want you to get them. And then the 911 operator says, okay, and where is she now? And he said, they have her body. They said they're going to cut her up. 911 operator says, what color car did Juan leave in? And he goes, what? Because he hadn't even thought that far. Right? What color car did Juan leave in? Dark green. Like a pickup van, but covered. What do you call, Chevy. That's what he said. Within a few minutes, police arrived and took him to the station. Lieutenant Brian Moore says his detectives found a few holes in Chadwick's story. Okay, Chadwick told 911 that Kusi was killed at about 11 a.m. the previous morning, but surveillance footage shows Chadwick's SUV leaving his gated community in Newport Beach about 2.5 hours after that. Police say there's no Juan in the vehicle, and later Chadwick's at a toll. Again, no sign of Juan. Okay, I'm going to put up another picture. This is the footage of his SUV leaving the gated community with no Juan. Okay. No one had any idea who this Juan was or could give any information related to the person. And worse than that, hang on, let me get another picture up here. He had scratches on his neck and his arms and a bite mark on his forearm. Did he try to explain that these came from Juan? And the police officer says he explained some sort of a struggle between him and Juan, but there was never any specifics on how he obtained those injuries. And then he just happened to have a packed suitcase in his car. All male clothing inside that was just kind of thrown in there as if someone had packed hastily. And then, let's see here, what else? Here's another little snippet from the 911 call. The 911 operator said, okay, what are you on any kind of medication, sir? And he says, not that heavy one. And she says, okay, but this happened yesterday at 11 and you're calling us at 5:30 in the morning? Detectives didn't buy any of it either, just like the 911 operator. During the initial contact, Peter was kind of all over the map. His story was very disjointed. He'd go through a range of emotions from crying, however, the officers never saw a tear, it's that fake crying, to moments of anxiety and then just completely quiet. And the most interesting thing that during the entire contact with law enforcement and detectives, he never once asked about his kids. And at that point, he hadn't seen them since the morning prior when he dropped them off for school, so it was almost 24 hours. The officer said to him that means he's more concerned with his story, creating an alibi, than he was about his own sons. Now, the neighbor and friend, Karen, said people's first feeling was that there had been a takeover robbery. They had both been kidnapped. I don't know if there was speculation in the media about that, but I never thought for a moment that it had happened. I somehow knew he had killed her. She remembers calling and said, he's killed her, hasn't he? And I can't tell you why. She called another friend, but she just had this feeling that he killed her. Just 6 hours after that 911 call, Peter Chadwick was arrested for murder. Hang on, I got another picture here. He's, oh, hey, get away. That's like 5'7". Okay. He wasn't defensive, angry, sad, emotional anyway, as if somebody that was being placed under arrest that was innocent would have acted, okay? He quickly lawyered up and stopped talking to the detectives, and the community was shocked. Friend Karen says it was just unthinkable that he would do that, and that someone would do that, and that she would be gone. Okay, so hang on one second. Probably the most telling things, this is the lieutenant, were that they discovered a handwritten piece of paper that had Peter's computer search history on it, and it looked like it was written in his wife's handwriting. So what did it say? How to torture, Chinese sex massage, abortion costs in Orange County. So it sounds like he got someone pregnant, right? So as they dug into it a little further, they started to get a real account that there was some turmoil in the marriage and there was some talk of divorce. This isn't that happy Newport Beach family that it appeared to be from the outside. In court, Peter Chadwick pleaded not guilty. His two sons, who lived at home, were now with their mother's brother more than 50 miles away in the Los Angeles area. Their mother was missing and presumed dead. Then 7 days after Peter Chadwick called 911, detectives got another big break. This time, a tip they said they couldn't discuss, and it led them to a location in the mountains more than 100 miles from Newport Beach. It's an extremely remote area, kind of south of San Diego County, in the middle of nowhere. Detectives found themselves on a barren mountainside in rural San Diego County, Wildcat Canyon. Hang on, I'm trying to get another picture up for you. Hang on. Okay. Just enlarge that a little. Okay. They believe Peter Chadwick came here that night. If you kind of put yourself in his position, he's been driving around for hours, over 10 hours, with Kusi's body in the car. He needs to find a place to drop the body. He needs to find a place to drop the body where he's not going to be seen, where it's dark, and it's not going to be seen anytime soon after he drops it. The first place, he comes to this little road. We were not sure we were ever going to find her. The chances were slim to none. That's when they came upon this dumpster. When they lifted it up, it was full. We started finding Kusi's items. We found nice bags. We found a really nice purse, so we set those aside. And when we opened up the bag, that's when we found Kusi's ID, her permanent residency card, $10,000 in cash. And all this stuff is the stuff that he described Juan taking with Kusi's body into Mexico. And wrapped in a green blanket was Kusi's body. It was a huge break for them. The dumpster was scheduled to be picked up the Thursday morning, which was the next morning after they believed that Peter disposed of Kusi's body. The issue with that was there was some kind of billing dispute. So it wasn't picked up. Once the detectives found Kusi, the medical examiner was able to determine how she died. There was a pretty violent struggle, which resulted in strangulation and possible drowning. As the state built its case against Peter Chadwick, he sat in jail for 2 months until December, when bail was set at $1 million. No sweat for the multimillionaire businessman. When her friend Karen, Kusi's friend Karen, found out he got out on bail, She said she remembers being absolutely infuriated and disgusted, and that she felt he should not be out on bail. Prosecutor Matt Murphy says the court really had no choice. Chadwick was entitled to bail. He says, we had a guy that had no criminal background. He had roots in the community. Chadwick also had that multi-million-dollar home and 3 sons, and he surrendered his U.S. and U.K. passports. We can keep him on a short leash. We can keep him, engaged in the process. We can keep eyes on him, the prosecutor, Matt Murphy, said. Even before Chadwick could face trial, Kusi's friend Karen had made up her mind about him. She said he was shameless. Talk about chutzpah. He sent out an email inviting people to a 100-day vigil, candlelight vigil, at the home where he murdered her. How can you kill your wife, throw her in a dumpster, and hold a candlelight vigil at the home where you killed her? 2 years passed. Chadwick moved into his father's home in Santa Barbara, a swanky town up the coast. All 3 sons ended up in boarding school. How solid was the case? The police said extremely solid. I mean, with all the circumstantial evidence, the body, the injuries, and the lack of plausibility on behalf of Peter's story. So overall, we thought we had this thing wrapped up. And they thought Peter Chadwick is going to end up in prison, but Peter Chadwick had other plans. Peter Chadwick was awaiting trial and making his court appearances for hearings, doing what he was supposed to do, until he wasn't anymore. The investigators got word from his attorney, who told them that he didn't know where he was. After 2 years out on bail, Peter Chadwick disappeared. So, how did the prosecutor feel? He was outraged. Nobody thought he would flee from his sons. He abandoned his family. He made his attorney look terrible, and he thumbed his nose at the court and the justice system. Prosecutor Matt Murphy said, it's just frustrating. You shouldn't be able to take advantage of the system because you have money, and that's what happened here. Most people can't afford bail. You shouldn't be able to do this because you've got money. He took full advantage, and he used his finances to do that, his financial resources to do it. Karen Thorpe, Casey's friend, says $1 million bail really wasn't high enough to keep someone as cold-hearted and narcissistic as him around. At first, investigators heard that Peter Chadwick might be dead. Initially, Michael Chadwick started relaying information that he was suicidal. Michael Chadwick is Peter's dad, and he started telling people that Peter was going to kill himself. He alluded to the fact that his son was suicidal. And Karen, the friend, said she couldn't remember if it was the attorney or Peter's father that said he had been despondent and suicidal. By the time the investigators realized that he'd flown the coop, Chadwick was long gone. He had a 3-week lead on them, and he'd been studying up. They discovered books in Chadwick's home on how to disappear, how to change identities, and how to leave false trails. Investigators learned from a taxi company that someone who police now believe was Peter Chadwick took a cab from his dad's house to an airport in Santa Barbara. The cab driver said the person he picked up that day was a woman. Was that Peter Chadwick in disguise? When he got to Santa Barbara Airport, he went inside with his suitcase, and then he must have changed clothes because surveillance cameras have pictures of Chadwick dressed as himself hanging out at the airport. Hold on, I'm going to get another picture up. That's him at the airport, seen on surveillance. Hours ticked by, but he never got on a plane. Instead, Chadwick went back outside, got into another cab, and drove away. And that's the last anyone has had ever seen of him. The search for Chadwick was now an international manhunt, with U.S. Marshals leading the way. Marshal Craig Mccluskey said, "We're going to catch him. He's going to make a mistake. We're going to choke him off and grab him." Not only did Chadwick have a head start, his life on the run would be well financed. Mccluskey said, "What makes him so difficult to find is the fact that he fled with a decent amount of money. It was about $1 million that he had in cash when he left." So the investigator says, "I honestly wished we could have wrapped the case up a lot sooner." And then the marshal said, "Once they find a string, they've got to start pulling on it." And we found a couple of strings. Before the final tip that led investigators to Mexico, tips had come in from everywhere. The countries that we've had active leads in that we pursued, including Japan, Canada, Belize, Panama, the Ukraine. Mccluskey was convinced Chadwick was getting help while on the lam. I didn't think this case was going to turn into what it did. But I think one reason that it did is because Peter's smart. It's not because he was savvy. It's not because he outsmarted us. It's because he's getting help. It's not because Peter's smart. It's not because he's savvy. It's not because he outsmarted us. It's because he's getting help. I think once we cut him off from his source of help, then he's going to make a mistake and we're going to catch him. Karen, the friend again, said that she always hoped whoever was helping Peter might have a change of heart. Someone needs to come forward. Someone with a conscience. Someone who cares about those kids and who cares about what has happened to this lovely woman, this lovely, devoted mother who has no justice. But justice was in reach because when the manhunt ended south of the border, the millionaire murder suspect was taken into custody. So after almost 5 years, basically overnight, everything changed. Late on Sunday, August 4th of 2019, a dramatic new development in the Peter Chadwick investigation happened, okay? The chief would not go into the detail about what that dramatic tip was, but it led to Chadwick being picked up by the Mexican federal police near the city of Puebla, south of Mexico City. Marshal Mccluskey said, "I think he was surprised. I don't think he expected to be arrested." And this marshal was at the airport in Los Angeles when Chadwick arrived, and he slapped the cuffs on him. The first thing he said to him was, "Peter, my name is Craig Mccluskey. I'm from the U.S. Marshals. I'm placing you in the custody of the United States Marshal Service." And he said, "I think he actually recognized me from a 48 Hours episode," which Mccluskey believes that he watched. He said he thinks this because the first question that Peter asked, he looked me right in the face and he asked me, "How's Ben?" And Ben's his oldest son. I guess he assumed I had some contact with his family. He said when he saw the episode, he realized his situation had escalated a lot because he didn't realize the U.S. Marshals were after him until that point. He really became stressed out. That's an incredible weight looking over your shoulder every day like that. Details are still murky about where Chadwick spent all those years on the run, but when he was picked up in Mexico, he was living in an apartment. Hang on one second. I hope there's nothing wrong with the sound or something. What's going on? Oh, it's on the, hang on, it's on the evidence pictures? Okay, sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. I wasn't looking at the Streamlabs. Okay. So where was I now? Peter was in a small village outside of Puebla, about 2 hours north of the Guatemalan border and about an hour and a half south of Mexico City. The makeup of the town was mostly Caucasians, but also some Asian community as well. He was in the hideout. His hideout was next to a country club. They had tennis courts, and of course, Peter preferred playing tennis. Did he change his appearance? He changed his appearance slightly. So his hair was a little darker. He had some facial hair. He had a goatee. He tried to make himself a little younger, and I think he was successful at that. I mean, his face looked a little different as well. So, let's see here. He used many fake IDs and aliases, including Paul Cook, Paul Craig, and John Franklin. He even had an ID card. It was a copy of some fictional security force, and he was representing himself as some type of an analyst with top secret access with his photo on it. But strangely, he never got a fake passport, and that may have forced him into some lifestyle changes. He had started off his escape staying in nice hotels. He did stay at hotels, but I think he started to change. Hang on a second. Okay. All right. I got the cartoon. Okay. He started to change his pattern when Mexico started changing some of their immigration laws, whether they required visas for non-citizens when they checked into hotels, which forced him into, more discreet places that would accept cash and no identification. And then there was money. Even though authorities figure he had about $1 million in cash when he fled, he occupied his days by picking up odd jobs. He did flee with a large sum of money. Most of that he lived off of, but I think he did some small things on the side, maybe taught conversational English to children to make a few bucks. He was bussing tables. He was working in kitchens. So he went from a real estate millionaire to bussing tables. Investigator, it's Marshal Mccluskey said, right, I think he was desperate to fit in and stay on the run. He was willing to do anything to sustain his flight. One of the biggest investigative breaks that led the U.S. Marshals to Chadwick was their discovery that he was in communication with people who knew him. We learned sometime last year through the investigation that he was receiving help from those close to him. To what extent, I don't know. And how the quantities of money that were provided to him, I don't know the details on that either. We do know that he was getting assistance from those close to him back up here still. That information, combined with the new tip and old-fashioned police work by Newport Beach Police, the U.S. Marshals, and Mexican authorities, ultimately led to Chadwick's arrest. The bizarre thing is, it took them nearly 5 years to unfold, and then boom, it happened overnight. Mccluskey says that's entirely true due to the relationship they have with the Mexican authorities. Their response to the intelligence that was gathered, their own intelligence, really paid off. At this point, authorities are not saying if they will charge anyone else in connection with Chadwick's escape. In the meantime, they are savoring their victory. Chief Lewis said he always knew Chadwick's days were numbered. So Chief John Lewis said, never for a minute did he think he's gone forever. I believe in our investigators. I believe in our process. I believe in the heart of the police department towards solving these cases. And so, in my mind, it was just a matter of time before we got him. It was going to be an if. It wasn't going to be an if. It was always going to be a when. At the end, they think that Peter seemed relieved. He said something along the lines of, it was getting hard keeping up with all these lies. And for Kusi's close friend Karen, Chadwick's capture brings mixed emotions. She says, I'm angry, repulsed. I want to make him know the pain that everyone else suffered. When Karen learned that he was at a resort in Mexico, she said she thought that was outrageous. Somebody who could have done this to her and then lived the high life is just a testament to his coldness and depravity. And that coldness, investigators say, extended to Chadwick's willingness to abandon his 3 sons forever. Investigations, according to Chief John Lewis, showed that Peter Chadwick never intended to return from Mexico. He had no intentions of coming back to Orange County to face trial or raise the 3 sons he'd abandoned. Speaking of the boys, everyone's heart goes out to them, and they ask everyone to respect their privacy at this incredibly emotional time. We don't know how the Chadwick boys have reacted to their father's capture, Karen said, but they've been doing well. Karen says they're really, really strong, really, really supported by Kusi's family. There's so much love around them and so much love for them. They've really continued to flourish in spite of this tragedy. Hold on, I'm just trying to get another. Okay. Okay. So that was one that somebody did come in. I'm coming back to the chat now to see what you guys said about this one. This is, I don't remember who mentioned it one night. Somebody did mention it the other night. It just happened to Scooter. He was just captured early August. He was just captured. This just happened. You probably heard it on the news, and you might have heard it in here, or you're talking about something else. I don't know. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat. I'm trying to, this chat, like, I'm just looking at it. I'm trying to find anything like a question on the case or something. I see everything like. Okay, there's the scratches on the face. You'll never go dumpster diving. He looked worried to be in custody. Okay, so, all right, I guess, yeah. I'm sure wildlife, I'm sure they will. What's today? Well, less than 2 weeks ago. Almost to like 12 days or 11 days. What is Deidre Grayson saying? You need what who's on, or maybe some sleep. Who are you talking to, Deidre? Hey, Dad TV. Oh, talking to Scooter. Okay. Is she She is oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I'm just trying to see if anybody's talking about the case. Glad he didn't make off with the kids. You're frustrated with chat, Sarah? Why? Because they're not concentrating on the case? I'm trying to see if anybody was talking about the case, Sarah. But I'm not seeing too much on the case. You're welcome, Buzzkill. Right, Sarah. Yeah, I feel it. I'm with you. You haven't heard about this one? You were interested in this case? You're welcome, Judy. Oh, you're just listening, people? Okay, that's good. Hi, Kindness Cake. So, yeah, and then there were a couple of hot car deaths. One in New Jersey. Another one... Where's the other one? Somewhere else where the child was in the family member's care. And that's what I have for you in the current events. Thought it was interesting, and he thought he was going to get away. So, well, he did make out, you know, he wasn't caught like Watts within a nanosecond. He lasted longer than Longo, who lasted a little bit, not too long. Oh, you're lost, Carol Lucy. Okay. Yeah, there were a couple of them. That's sad. Very sad. Yeah, almost 5 years, Teresa, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, sirree, almost 5 years. It just shows you'll eventually be tracked down. Yeah, it's... Who really enjoys to live that kind of life anyway, right? He had an affair and got someone pregnant. Is that why? That seems to be, Janelle, what the issue was. Seemed like his wife found out on the computer. There was probably a fight that ensued. Whether he killed her in, you know, the heat of a rage and then decided to go along with it, or, you know, seems kind of like it to me. But it's... Was she in the bathtub? Did she confront him in the bathtub? Did she confront him and then go up to take a bath and say, I don't know what it was.
I need the kids want something to drink. I can't get them to sleep.
Oh, so Jimmy's going to use the ice maker. That's what he's saying. The kids got up for a drink, so he's down getting drinks. And did you use the ice maker yet? There we go. Okay. You got that?
Thanks.
All right. So, yeah, tomorrow. I was surprised at all that money. I'm surprised he left $10,000 in the dumpster, unless that was payment for some, but that he thought the dumpster would have been picked up, so he just threw away $10,000. I'm surprised he didn't plant it like somewhere where he could have picked it up, or I think that was weird. That part was weird. Like brain overload for you? Jimmy is always practicing his music, always. He was born in Britain. He was a dual citizen. He got too sure of himself. It also could be that he did see that newscast and about the Marshals and started to make him real nervous and started to make him trip himself up and all kinds of stuff like that. She wasn't from the, where was she from? They met at the University of Arizona. I have to go look up where she was from. Even though I was freezing. Yeah, it was more than freezing. It was, I was really not feeling well. I was feeling, my blood pressure was very, very low. Like my bottom number was 42. Okay. So what else is going on? It's cold here in New York. It's way too cold in New York. Wait a minute, Elise, what do you mean you can't eat lemons anymore? Is it just lemons that make you faint, but it's not lemons that lower your blood pressure, is it? That's where who went? New York. Who went there? Oh my gosh, that's where who went? Oh gosh, I've been drinking lemon water. Are you serious? I have. I just had, when I was feeling really bad, I had Jimmy and Luke, they brought me up some of the pink Himalayan salt that Bella told me to. Oh, beetroot? Great, and I was eating those too. I've never heard about lemon doing that. I've heard lemon water could be a diuretic, not that it lowered your blood pressure. There's a spider in your sink. Who went to New York? Yeah, I know that's pretty low, Jess. Who went to New York? Somebody said, "Oh my gosh, she went to New York." You commented who went to New York. I didn't go to New York. I'm here. Do you think the lemon and limes are doing it? I don't think so. I mean, no. I think mine is from my anemia and stress, and I know stress normally goes up, but it's wreaking havoc with my body. Oh, you're talking about Delphi? Yeah, okay, Dick. Yeah, Pitbull, I'm not feeling well. I'm like in 97 sweatshirts and I just don't feel like going on camera tonight. I don't feel good. A girl from your area? Where in New York? Because I'm in New York. Where is she in New York? Who is it? Is there someone missing? While I was standing? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm gonna go to, I will go to the doctor. We did, Sharon. We did check it. It's working correctly. We have 2 different units. They're both working correctly on Jimmy. Thanks, Dad TV. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'd like some heat. I would like some heat. Maybe 25 degrees higher, please. Thanks, Brenda. Yeah, I know. Are you not seeing all of my comments? There's a lot of comments, and I'm doing the best I can here. It's humid there. Oh my goodness, Lisa, it's chilly here. So chilly. You're welcome. You're welcome, Teresa. Oh, in Vegas, it's. I don't even know. It was chilly. You would hug me, that would warm me up. I could wear your big fluffy dressing gown. That sounds lovely, Casbat. Big fluffy. I was freezing before. Oh my gosh. Jimmy's like, your feet, they're so cold. Your hands are so cold. Usually misses. No, yeah, I tried. I got you, Pitbull. Okay, there's a girl from my area. She's been missing for a while, and she went to New York, but they think she's part of sex trafficking. Oh, okay. Gotcha now. You go outside to warm up, yeah. Do you have any raw ginger root? No, but I have ginger tea. Maybe I'll have some of that. She was here last night, Sakura. I don't know if she's here tonight. Anybody see Random Guy Jeff yet? Did he pop in at all? You're welcome, Margie. Do I have any soup? Yeah, I have some soup. My thyroid is low, Pitbull, but I take medication for it. Compression socks, yeah. The low systolic, but low, both will certainly do it. Well, both of mine are low, Hennessy. Both numbers are low. Yeah, I drank caffeine and everything. Where are the socks? Ginger tea. Maybe I'll have some ginger tea. No, I have huge sweatshirts on. Kathy, we were in contact earlier this afternoon. She said her son is doing better. She thanks everyone for their prayers. That his chest x-ray was a little better, something about clouds her husband equated it to, and that they were able to back him off the 100% oxygen to 80%, and he's able to hold that on his own. So they had the priest come in finally because he had asked for that, for the anointing for the sick, and she said she was, holding on, that he was doing a little better and she was going to hold on to that and all of that. Yes, I do. At least you can email me. Thank you. They massage. Yeah, let's just keep the prayers going for him, Angel Callie's mom, and everyone else in the community that needs help. Karina Slusher is her name? Slusser? I hope they find her. You're completely freezing. It's so cold. It's so cold there, too. Caffeine's a diuretic that also lowers blood pressure. Didn't someone just say to take caffeine or something? I don't even drink that much caffeine. I can't even get through a cup of coffee anymore. It's bad. Oh, Manager of Three Monsters, right. Yes, absolutely. Kidney stones and stuff are wreaking havoc. You're going to get your socks on? Good. And I have a busy weekend because my daughter is up here with an entire board of where she works, having a retreat out at the other house. So I have stuff to do with that tomorrow and stuff. So we'll see. It rained and stormed all day. You freeze then, yeah, Wildlife? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, but because of my anemia going low, Pitbull, that when I'm exercising, because I rode my bike like over 4 miles the day before yesterday, and I was going to do it again today, but then when I went on this walk up this steep hill, it's hard to catch your breath when you come to the top when you're anemic because you don't have enough oxygen in your blood. So I have to slowly build my iron back up. Ishiwoni is who is accused of her disappearance. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. But thank you guys. Sorry that it was the way it was, but it was that or nothing. And I wanted to get this case on because I was had done some research on the Powell case. You have bradycardia and low blood pressure. How low does your bottom? Did your bottom never ever go to 42, Sharon? Stay and let your daughter and her friends handle it. Oh, they'll handle it, but it's, Okay, everybody. All right, to the mods and everyone. Take care. Thanks for coming, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Yeah, I hate liver, but I have been doing good things for my iron. All right, everybody. Let me see here. I'm gonna get this. Can't see my. Oh my goodness. And that.